Okay, cool. Hello? Hi. Okay, there's less of you here than there were 10 minutes ago. That's too bad. But my name is Andrew, and I don't have as much time, so I'm going to gloss over a few things. Ask questions. I'll be out there later if you want. So in 2012, I started using Unity, and I bought lots of stuff from the asset store, and I made a game. And then I decided I wanted better stuff. And the only way to do that was to make it and get it produced. And then I decided I should sell it on the asset store as well because I wanted to help myself from 3 years ago out. So in May of 2015, I started the Infinity PBR series of characters and some environments. And I wanted to tell you basically all about that. I'm going to skip over a lot of smaller details and talk a lot about the Unity sales, my experience on the store, my experience with the forums and the ecosystem, and finances and stuff. So I'm going to skip over this first slide because it's not super important. And you can look at it. That's pretty. All right, so since May of 2015, $15,817 is how much I've lost. I've brought in about $32,000, spent about $48,000, and you can see the graph here over time. One thing to note is that the profit line, the blue line on the bottom there, is actually relatively stable, so that's nice. As I keep making more, I keep spending more. But generally sales are up. That's a nice little line too. I like seeing that go up. And so I'm going to keep doing this even though I've lost money. I think maybe by next year I will have made money. Those 4 spikes there, those are all from Unity Asset Store sales. So I will definitely be talking about those in a minute. All right, the most of my money I've spent was on modeling and animation. So these are characters, of course. So they take models and animations. I've been adding audio, music, and concept art recently. So those are a smaller portion. Next year they'll be higher because not every package has those yet. I do all the texturing customization myself. Some of the texturing is done by the modeler, and I'm starting to do more of the texturing myself in order to pull that away from my pocketbook account and into just my time expenses. So that should help out things in the future. That's one of the things I'm going to be doing in the future. And I wanted to point out that all of the texture customization stuff is done with Substance Designer. And all the, and all the texturing I'm going to be doing is with Substance Painter. And a lot of the more simple stuff that I did, a lot of prototyping as well, was done with Pro Builder, which is another asset on the asset store. That's been a good return on my investment, actually. So finding people to work with has been one of the biggest challenges I've had. I used classically, historically, the forums. And there's a lot of people on the forums and a lot of bad people on the forums. There's a lot of people who will oversell themselves, say, yes, I can do that. I can do it on budget. In fact, less time than you want me to do it. And then after they say 10 hours, they come back 30 hours of work later and say, ooh, it took 30 hours and it's not done yet, but can you pay me for the 30 hours and then I'll finish it? And so that doesn't work for me, obviously. After a few other bad experiences, I ended up having a new rule that I will only pay people after the work is done. And by done, I mean I've been able to check it in Unity as a finished product. And because of that, some people won't work with me because they don't trust me. But it saves me from losing money, which I actually got taken for a few $100 a few times. So I think that's a good policy. And there's some new Unity stuff with Connect that actually might change all of that, all of those issues. So I've also found that there's very, very, very talented people on the forums. I think everyone that I've worked with on all of these is from the forums, and they're really, really good. They're really affordable. They're really excited. They're amazing, and I'm very, very glad I found them. However, I have found, and for coming from a non-modeler, animator background, I've found that some people, or most people maybe, are really specialized into a few different things. So my modeler who does most of these stuff is really good at creatures. I mean, everything he delivers is top-notch, that's for sure. But he's fast at creatures. I pay him a day rate. So when he's fast at creatures, it means it costs me less money. I learned the hard way by having him do some dungeon stuff that he's not fast at other things. And I ended up spending a lot more money without realizing it because he was working, thinking everything was great. And I was thinking he was getting tons of stuff done, and he wasn't. So I found that some people are really good at some things and really fast and not at others, and I need to pay attention to that. So that's important. And lastly, on the forums, I found that some people want to jack up their rates as soon as they find out that although everything is for my own game that I really want to make, I'm also going to sell on the asset store. Somehow they think that the asset store is a magical place where lots of money is made, and if they do any work for it, then, well, they're going to have to charge me more. And then I tell them, well, if you think it's so magical, why don't you just do the work yourself and put it up on the store? They've got no answers. But they still want to charge me more money. I tell them I don't make enough money to pay that, and they go away. So there we go. Now, moving forward, in order to lessen that deficit I've got going, I'm going to do a few things. These are just a few of many things, I think. One thing, I'm going to put my characters into 3 different tiers. Tier 1 at the top there, that's going to be like my dragon, which is a great character. My humans, the top-notch hero characters, the ones I think will make more money than everything else. And I think those can deserve some extra investment. And Tier 2 characters are characters that I think should do really well, like that Serpent Warrior there, who I think is awesome, but nobody else does, because they don't buy them. And then, and so I think they should get some investment, but they should be, I should be careful, just to not go overboard. I've made mistakes with an upcoming character, a Medusa character, based on that thing that ended up costing, I think, about $3,000 to model, when it should have only cost $1,000. That goes along with the don't let your day rate modeler think that they have all the time in the world to do stuff, because they'll take it. And Tier 3 characters are like the mushroom monsters that look amazing and everyone seems to love, but it sells all of 1 sale every 2 months or something. So those characters can definitely get made, but they can't get made for a lot of money. Otherwise, I'll never make my money back. Let's see. So let's talk about money. This is the top characters. The 37% there is the dragon character. You may have seen it. It's popular on the store. And for a long time, it was really popular on the store. The next one is the RPG Barbarian. That's a humans. And together, they form the RPG Barbarian pack, which is a pack of both of them together for a lower price. Between those two, it's actually over 50% of the total revenue. Just those two, without considering the pack together, it's almost 50%. And the other big ones there that make up the tiny amount, those have all been on sale in one form or another on any of the Unity Asset Store sales, and everything else makes up smaller amounts. But the truth is that the other two have also been on sale, because sales with the Unity Asset Store are tremendously important. And without those, and without the dragon, I wouldn't be here right now, because I would have given up. So let's talk about money and sales. The Gargoyle pack was my first character, also first one featured on a sale in September of 2015. Labor Day weekend, it was a 24-hour sale, which I'm sure you've all known about the 24-hour sales. Made that much money, 47 sales. I don't think that's a lot from what I've heard from other publishers in other categories. They get sometimes 600 sales or more. I was hoping for that, but it didn't happen. I'm not going to complain about this. It's half of the revenue from the entire history of that one character, so I'm okay with that. Next, a year later, on Labor Day weekend, there's something about Labor Day weekend and characters, I think. The RPG character pack, that's the Barbarian and the Dragon together, was on sale. Higher price point, fewer sales, but more money. So 40% of that pack in 5 months, that's how long it's been out, 40% of the money came from that one day. If you include the individual Dragon and Barbarian, that's a lot less. But that's because both of those were by themselves for a long time before I put them into a pack, and they were quite popular. But next sale is the Dragon was on sale for a good number of time. For 2 weeks, I think, give or take. It was part of the Madness sale this past summer. And during that time, it had 139 sales, which is much better than 47. At a discount, it was a 40% discount. Its regular price was $59. So it made $3,400 in revenue, and that's great. That's 34% of its total take of 10,000, do the math. And I'm okay with that, even though I would like to be at that 600 sales level. But that was during the Madness sale, which in my opinion is the best sale you can be in if you have to choose for Unity. The PBR Monster Pack number 1 was part of the Level 11 discount sale for the month of July in 2016, and it only had 23 sales during the month, which is surprising to me because each of those characters is $45 by itself, and you could get all of them for $60, which means it's like a 66% discount, but somehow, I guess nobody needs a mushroom and plant monster, I guess. I'm not sure. But I like the money. It helps because in the end, everything helps at this point. So lastly is the bomber bug, which you may have seen on the level 11 free sale this past month. There were almost 3,200 sales for $0. I got paid $250 minus a $10 PayPal fee for the privilege, and 4 extra sales above the normal for this character has been 3 sales a month on average, and it got 7 sales during October. So it made a little extra money. That little extra money equals 37% of its total take in the past 6 months since it was released, because it hasn't made that much money overall. Therefore, even though it really didn't make that much money during the sale, I'm completely happy with it still. I'm hoping that some point during the coming year that 3,200 people end up, maybe buying something else, but you never know. So those are the sales I've been. Those are all the sales at this point that Unity has had. And at some point in the past, I actually started selling on my own site too, infinitypbr.com if you're interested. I had downloads there already for updates, so I could update something, a bug or something, in a bug character, but a bug in the scripts, and people could download it right away. And eventually I was like, well, I've got everything on here. Why don't I just click a buy now button and then people can buy now? So I created my own site, and I think it's been 2-3 months, something like that. And in that time, there's been a lot of cool things I've learned about that, and a few of them are here. I like to point out a couple of them. One, I get 97% of the payment as revenue versus 70% at the asset store. That's almost a 50% difference, which is pretty cool. What else? I like to give coupons out. Whenever somebody joins my site or registers one of their packages, they get an instant coupon in their email box. You can buy anything you want for 25 bucks, and some people do it. I got 3 this week. And I'm hoping, and I've seen this, that some people will feel, okay, I'll buy it, and then they'll be like, hey, that was a cool experience. I liked buying from his site. I'll do it more. And then I have a subscription option down at the bottom. Now, this is a solution to a problem where a lot of people on the forums would say, oh, man, I love that. It's a great character. I can't wait to use it in my game. I can't wait. I'll just wait till it's on sale. And they wouldn't buy it, because the truth is, many of you guys know, you start making a game, and you think, yeah, I'll get that eventually, and then you stop making that game, and you never buy it, and I want you to buy it now, because I need the money. And so this subscription option gives people who really like my work a discount. They get everything I make for $25 if they agree to buy it on the day it's released. That gives people an incentive to save money, and also an incentive to buy stuff right away. I've only been doing that for a couple months, but I think there's about $400 worth, give or take. So most characters take 3 or 4 months to make that amount of money. So now they make it on the very first day. And then 2 weeks later, when the asset store approves the package, more people can buy it there. But it's already gotten some of its investment back, which has worked out pretty well. But there's also things that the asset store does that I can't do at all. I have to pay for my server every month. I have to pay for an SSL certificate, and that costs money every month. I'm not sure why. There's a lot of stuff that the Unity store does automatically that I have to do myself. There's thousands or maybe even millions of customers, potential customers on the store that I don't have. Everyone trusts Unity already. Everyone of you does at least. And I have to earn that trust because I'm just a random website. And as we all know, not all random websites can be trusted. And of course, the in-engine download install is really, really easy. And I can't do that. So the asset store is actually still really, really good. Oh, and the sales. The sales are great, like Unity asset store sales. All right, so most of my stuff is in the 3D models, creature, or characters, creatures section. There's a couple humanoids, but most of it's the creatures. And I've learned a few things that I think, I don't know if this is specific, maybe a couple people in the room do, but I don't have details about the actual numbers here. But this is last week, the top 10 grossing creatures in the asset store. And 3 of them were mine, right there. Here we go. And this is how much they made in the previous, I think it was about 3.5 weeks. So this was a week ago in October. I'm guessing, and I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that the list takes into account about 3 weeks worth of data. And to be number 10, you only had to make $236, which means 600 character creature packages made less than $236 in that month, and only 4 made more than $327. I don't know for sure, but my takeaway from this and from my other packages is that creatures, and maybe characters in general, do not make much money on the asset store. It probably makes logical sense if you think about it. Let's see, in the $178 a month, that's the average revenue. It's misleading, actually. If you look at the actual history, that's how much each character package is made. But way at the right there, you have the dragon at the top, and the human, number 3, that's the average per month. And the 2 X's there are the demon and the devil package. Those have each been out for less than a month. I think the demon has been on the asset store for 2 weeks or so. But each of those were part of the subscription. And so they've been around for 1 month and got a bunch of money. And so exclude those, and exclude the dragon, and exclude the human, because really they're flukes compared to everything else. And my actual average is more about $70 a month per character. So over a course of a year, it's going to make less than $1,000. Do the math, and that's why I've lost money, I suppose, because I spend more than that. So let's do a test. This is a screenshot from the asset store, and right there in the middle is the Devil's Pack. It looks pretty good. Recently, I changed all my icons to have that kind of like slanted 2 points, 2 curved sides. I want it to stand out a bit. There's the PBR Monster Pack number 2 on the right there. And so I want to do a test with you guys. How many of you can raise your hand, think the icon on the left is better for getting more clicks? All right, how many of you think the icon on the right? No, 2 people. Do you want to know the answer? Yeah, so do I. But you don't get to know, neither do I, because there's no way of knowing. There's no A/B testing on the asset store, and so we have no data to know if that change I made matters. It might actually have hurt sales for all I know, but I can't tell. So if there was one thing that I could do and wave a magic wand to get the asset store to do, it would be to get A/B testing. This is my everything. This is everything. This is all my stats that I was able to glean from various things, and it's organized by sales per 1,000 views. Some of them are 0 because the barrels is free now, and Demons and Weeper isn't even out yet. It's still in the queue, and Demons is new, so I didn't have any sales officially. The sales are based on the asset store sales, nothing from my own site, because I only have views, a view count for the asset store, not from my own site. So if you look at these, there's a whole lot between 1 and 4 or so. There's a lot of similarities, but if you look, I should have highlighted it, but the difference between Slime Pack PBR and PBR Monster Pack number 1, they have a very similar, they're somewhere in the middle, you can find it. They have a very similar sales per 1,000 view ratio, but one has 15 times the number of views, and therefore a lot more sales. I'm not sure for sure, I really don't know, but I'm guessing that if I could increase my sales per view ratio, perhaps by having a few more clicks on that icon, I could make more money. Just a little bit, but every little bit counts. All right, so there's more that Unity is doing that's actually helping a lot, and also helping in the statistics realm. The affiliate program, which you may have heard about a lot this week, is a no-brainer for publishers, and really a no-brainer for a lot of people who like to showcase Unity on their own free time anyways. For publishers, it allows you to put a little reference link at the end that can effectively let you track clicks, so that finally I can know if my Facebook ads are actually being clicked and if I'm wasting my money. So if you are a publisher, you should definitely sign up for the affiliate program and put all those links on almost everything that you have leading to your packages. YouTube, your own website, all that stuff. There's also more tools. The Collaborate beta, I was very fortunate to be part of the Collaborate beta in, I don't know, a while ago. And it was intended for teams to work together. But I looked at it and said, hey, I've got artists who are in London who keep sending me files I have to download from Dropbox, unzip them, load it to Unity, and figure out, wait, is that error because of the animation, or is the error there because somewhere inside Unity they didn't delete and update the rig or something, which happened actually a lot and we wasted time. Collaborate, if you haven't seen it, it's like a version control system, I guess. You just click a button, it uploads, and then in London, my animator downloads, and she sees my scene, she sees my updates, I see her updates, and everything that we do has become so much more efficient. And it's probably, I don't know how many hours, but it's saved at least a few dozen hours, I would think, just from frustration of downloading things over and over. So Collaborate is something that, even though it's not meant to be used for publishers in that way, if you work with other people in any shape or form, use Collaborate. It's only 5.4 though, so if you use earlier versions, you have to work that out. Then the new Connect site just came out this week as well. I was also fortunate enough to be part of that beta in last week. And I talked about my issues with the forums. So Collaborate for me or Connect rather, they all sound alike. Connect for me will fix, I hope, all of those issues with the forums. It adds a level of professionalism, maybe a LinkedIn type degree to it, because users will put their stuff up there as well as who they've worked with, what they've worked on, and it's not just a wild, wild west, hey, check out my website, I made stuff on the forums. And I'm hoping that it works out. Already, I did put up a task last week, just a simple thing, and I found someone in literally 20 minutes later, and I booked him, and he finished it, and I haven't been able to check it this week, but if everything goes well, then task complete, and I may have found a new modeler to work with, which is pretty awesome, and it was really easy. So Connect is something you should definitely join as well. So if I could go back in time and tell myself anything, a year and 3 months ago. First, I would tell myself to understand the artists and keep on top of them. Understand what they do, how they do it, their strengths and weaknesses, and then keep on top of them. There was, I don't know if you noticed, in the graph of expenses and all that, there was a horizontal line around November of last year that lasted 2 months. And that's because my artists, I had two of them, the modeler and the animator, both got burnt out. And they both stopped working, basically. And I didn't keep on top of them. I was doing other stuff as well in my life. So I didn't keep on top of them. And there was a huge delay between my Dragon package and my human package. During all that time, I was spending more money. I was sitting on models that were unanimated, so they couldn't be released. The Weeper package I mentioned earlier, it's in the queue to be released on the asset store. It was actually modeled in September of 2015, and it's just been sitting there waiting because I wasn't on top of my artists. I would tell myself that you will make less money than you think, and to budget accordingly. I had expected 4 sales per month on average on the lowest possible conservative estimate, and I was very wrong. The average is less than 2 sales per month. Most packages get less than 1 or 2 sales a month. Some definitely less than 1 sale a month. I would let myself know that you would constantly hear people tell you how amazing your work is, and then they wouldn't buy it. Lots of people tell me they love my characters. They see my card and they're like, oh, you made this? Yeah, I love that. Yeah, have you bought it? No, I haven't. Are you planning to? Yeah, I want to. Of course I want to. That's amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on that. But they don't. And that's you know, I don't think they're pandering to me. I just think that the truth is people love stuff and they don't buy it. And that was surprising to me because I came from a standpoint of going to the asset store and saying, holy cow, I love that, I'm gonna buy it. And I bought it and I never used it. So I was the opposite. I bought it without using it. They want to use it, but they don't buy it. I would let myself know that you should build a fan base right away. I didn't. I had a website, but I didn't connect with the fans. I didn't let them log in and talk to me on my site. I used the forums and that worked. But I didn't collect their information and give them a way to let me talk to them. Since I started having them register on my site for bonus downloads I couldn't put on the asset store due to file size restrictions, I also created a way for me to email them every time there was a new package, every time there was an update. So I can update the Dragon Pack with new audio or with new blend shapes, and all of a sudden I also get to tell them, by the way, there's a new character out, and you know you could have gotten that for 25 bucks if you joined the subscription program. And that can go out to everyone who bought the Dragon. And it might not be everyone who actually bought it, but the people who care enough to register are my core users. They're the ones that I want to keep around forever. To build that fan base, I should have done it earlier. I didn't, and that was a mistake, I think. All right, so I can only speak for the creatures category. The truth is, I think that characters won't make you rich, but that scripts and editor extensions might actually do exactly that. There's no data released showing which sections of the asset store do how well compared to other ones, but just talking to other people, seeing the number of reviews and ratings that packages get, all that stuff, yeah.
I was going to say, one guy that did the shader forge,
Yeah.
his name showed on a slide in Unity did 100 grand in half of the first year.
Yeah, 2 years ago at Unite, he spoke about that. It was his first asset, the shader forge, you've all heard of it, and he made a shit ton of money really fast. And half of it, I think, was from one of the 24-hour sales. And so editor extensions, scripts, if you're thinking about doing that, do it. Sell it. Do it, make it pretty, make it user-friendly so you don't have support requests, and put it up because you might make a lot of money. If you're thinking about doing characters, how many of you are actually modelers here? Anyone? All right, good. Yes, you should put your stuff up. Find an animator if you don't do it yourself. Put it up on the store because all you're spending is time. You're going to do it anyway, so do it. You can make money. I've made $32,000 in the past year, and that's an average of, what, like $2,000 per character or something? That's good. But if you plan on being like me and spending money on doing it, then take all my advice as caution. Do it still, but be careful, just because you might not make as much as you think. But for all the other, maybe not all the others, maybe not audio, but for all the scripts and editor extensions, maybe even the particles if you're really good at that, those categories seem to make tons of money, so do that. That's pretty much it. If you do want to check out my Bomber bug and you're not on level 11, go to my website and use that promo code. You'll have to log in, and you can get the Bomber bug for free. It's a cool bug, and he explodes, so that's cool. And I've got time for questions, if anyone has any. Questions?
Not a question, but thanks for the talk. And by the way, your flying worm is awesome, and I did buy it.
Excellent, thank you.
Flying worm, giant worm.
The giant worm, yeah, he's big, 15 feet tall. Way back there, and right here too.
Hi, I have a question about how do you manage your pipeline. For example, you hire somebody to give you a character, and is that person also going to do the animation, or do you separate people to do that?
I separate people as much as possible because of the specialization. I found a lot of modelers aren't the best at animation if they do it at all. So it's a modeler, and often they'll do the texturing. If I love their modeling, but I don't like their texturing, then I will take over the texturing. And then for animation, I do look for an animator and rigger combined, only because I know nothing about either of those things. So for me to hire a rigger, there's no way for me to vet that rigger to see if the quality of the work is good. In the end, I've got an amazing animator who does the rigging. He hates it, but he does it because he's the best person to do it because he knows how it needs to be rigged. Aside from that, though, everything's separated.
Okay, thank you.
Did anybody freak out at you for selling assets on like 2 stores at the same time, or is that just kind of like a myth, I guess?
No, it's totally allowed. You just can't undercut the asset store price. I'm not sure about the coupon thing because I'm not advertising a lower price, but so far I've talked to all of them and told them all about it, and nobody's yelled at me, so that's cool. And then where I do sell it for a lower price, the subscription, at that point it's not on the asset store, so I can sell it for whatever price I want. I didn't actually include talk of other stores like CG Trader or Unreal. I don't have it on Unreal because haven't gotten the time to figure out how to do that yet. There's a lot of differences. And smaller stores like CG Trader, for the most part, don't work, although for some reason the past 3 days, the Dragon Pack has sold 3 times. And the price there is really high because they do a weird thing that in Europe, they take the taxes from my cut, not the buyer's cut. So I jacked the price up, and so somebody bought the Dragon, or 3 people bought the Dragon the past 2 days for 98 bucks each. So that's an extra $40 per sale for me, I guess. But usually those sites don't really sell much at all.
All right. First, thanks for taking the time to come out here and like give us your hard numbers. I know that's a lot of courage. So you talked about comparing your own store versus the asset store. I was wondering if you'd be willing to share with us like kind of what your breakdown is on sales between there. Is it worth it to do both stores? If you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
I'd pick the asset store, no problem.
Yeah?
There's a lot more sales from the asset store. There's a lot more customers. It's a lot easier. I don't have to do all the management and stuff. The only reason I actually started my own store was because I had the downloads there already. I had people registering in order to download. It costs 12 cents per gigabyte to download, and my packages tend to be around 1 to 2 gigs each. So I didn't want people just coming in and downloading all the extra bonus stuff because it would cost a lot. So they have to register. The data is already there, so it just made sense to take that next step. And then all the other stuff followed through that because I just thought, oh, I should do this. I should have subscriptions. I should have coupons, and I could. But if it wasn't for having the downloads already and having that registration process, I would only use the asset store. He has a question, right? Yeah.
You had all your data up there, but I didn't see review numbers. Do you see any correlation between the reviews? Because I know as a buyer.
Yes. That's the first thing you look at. And this is a contention with a lot of the publishers, actually, because it's really damn hard to get 3 reviews. Really hard. Even for people who buy all my stuff, they still don't review it. And I email them, hey, write a review. Okay, I will, and they don't. It's really hard to get 3 reviews, but it's also really hard to get sales without 3 reviews. There's been some issues with other publishers using the voucher system to post 3 basically fake reviews every single time they release something. It happens every once in a while. You can totally tell, but it doesn't always happen. So you get reviews and you'll get more sales. And the 5-star matters. 4 stars is not as good because that means somebody out there didn't like it, and so they rated it low, and maybe you should be cautious about that, even though a lot of the 1-star reviews are themselves fake. So, yeah. I haven't tried those. I think CG Trader and CubeBrush are the only 2 I've tried. Yeah, I just haven't, and I'm not sure if the market is right because I don't know if they're all game developers. And that's one of the things I've gotten a lot of people saying, oh, how do I use this? And if they don't know Unity, it's going to create a lot of support work for me. So and also ultimately uploading new versions of 3 and 4 gigabyte packages is cumbersome. I'd much rather funnel everyone to the Unity store rather than all these other stores that probably won't make many sales. All right, go home. Conference is over. Bye.